Well, good morning, everybody. Another weekend, another Wednesday, another 11 a.m. on a nice, beautiful day. A little chilly here in Pennsylvania this morning, but getting better. We got fall going on. And today, of course, I would love to share with you some more information, some advice, some thoughts, some of that. And of course, if you can, send me comments, send me information, send me anything that you want. Um, as I always tell people, I get to live with multiple females, so you can call me anything you want. You can say anything you want. I get yelled at first thing in the morning and when I go to sleep. Just kidding. I love everybody I live with. Um, so, Jim Gonzalez here. As I always say, been doing this for quite a long time. And what we're going to talk about today is a subject that I've run across quite a few times. How to address the lack of post-implementation support from your EDI service provider or hosted solution, however you want to define it. So a lot of these platforms that are out there they're good at selling you on how they're going to handle things. They're good at marketing. They're good at all those things. A lot of them are not good at actual customer service or professional services or the daily or helping you to figure out the monitoring and all of those things. That's the shame of it, because once a system's put in place and a system's up and running, you're still going to need help, until you get that system all configured and all the tweaks worked out and all of the fun stuff. Then daily life begins. Then you start getting live data, live purchase orders, processing live claims, doing all of those fun things. And a lot of times people have no clue, at least I've found, people have no clue about the system that's been put in place. So whether it's a hosted solution or it's a on-prem solution or cloud solution, SaaS model, whatever, the people that are actually using the system are kind of in the dark, and they're not aware of how much responsibility they might have, where to go in and address issues, where to find common reports, how to adjust things, all of the stuff that you really need once somebody walks away. And they say, hey, we're done, it's yours, have a good day, here's the phone number, or here's the email address for support. Because good luck, you're not going to get a hold of anybody live. That's the shame of the matter. It doesn't matter what you're looking at, doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether it's dealing with EDI or it's dealing with all these other companies that are out there, utility companies, whatever. A lot of people are not focused on customer service. They're focused on getting the initial sale done, getting it done, moving on to the next one, moving on to the next one, and so forth and so on. Wrapping up implementations and then being able to say, hey, we're done. And we run across that with, people that are doing user testing, system integration testing, all of those different things. And they're like, hey, they're reaching out because they're lost. They're going, hey, they did, they got us set up and I think things are working, but I just don't know. Or my trading partner's having issues and I don't know what to do. I don't know who to call. I don't know who can help me. I'm not an EDI person, or I am an EDI person, but I was trained on AS400s and I wasn't using Windows. Now we're all Windows based and I'm lost as to where things are. Everybody expects me to know exactly where things are because I've been doing this for 30 years. But what they don't know is they've been doing it in a specific system for 30 years. Never really seeing what else is out there, what else is going on in the marketplace, what do the other systems look like, how do they interact, how do they work, how do you do visual mapping, how do you do those type of things. So you want to get a game plan from whoever's implementing your system and understand what's the handoff, what's going to happen, who am I going to call, who am I going to deal with, is everybody truly properly trained. It's one of those questions, why is there a lack of support from some managed EDI services? So the reason being, let's just be point blank. As I typically am. Again, all of this is just what I've seen, what I've dealt with, conversations I've had with numerous companies, individuals, all of that stuff over 25 years, and what my team's running into and that kind of stuff. So what we find is, again, people have way too many projects on their plate. They just need to know, hey, I need to implement, and I got, company 1, 2, 3, 4 is the first priority. Once I knock them off, I got the next company, next company, next company. And it becomes like this, we just got to get in and get out. We got to get it signed off. Big thing, project managers are really pushing sign-offs. Got to get it signed off, got to get it done. Don't care if we can't delay it because we might, fall out of our contract and we might owe them money. We might do all those things instead of looking at it from an aspect of, we need to make sure that they're handled. We need to make sure that there's a handoff. We need to do all of those things. So when it comes to managed EDI services, understand what you're getting with those managed EDI services. Are you getting a live phone number? Are you getting an email address? Are you getting a group of people that you know them by name because that's who you're going to deal with? Or are you going into a generic support that has no clue who you are? You give them your name or your number or your license number or whatever it may be. They look you up in, Salesforce or whatever system they're using on the back end, and they're tracing you down and they go, hi, how can I help you? And now your responsibility is to describe the system that you have in place, the errors that you're doing, what you've worked through with your own support, what are the trial and tribulations that you've done, here are the steps that I've already covered, or are you having to re-explain all of that over and over and over? And I can tell you, for somebody that's been doing this for a long time, I hate when it's my responsibility to explain to a support personnel all the steps that I covered and they want me to go through those steps again. Or I feel as though I know more than what your support person does. So if you see that I call in, please make sure to put me through straight to your second level, third level, whatever, to get a direct answer instead of wasting time. A lot of companies, they have these prerequisites that you have to work through in order to get to the second level, third level, or whatever, and they really need to start to indicate. Why does EDI manage services? Why do they lack in support? Because again, they're overwhelmed. A lot of these entities that are out there are owned by private equity firms. Again, I'm not trying to knock private equity firms. I really don't want to seem like I'm coming across them, but you got to understand how a private equity firm works. They're in to buy organizations, grow organizations, sell the organizations, or take them public. They are based on making money. So what do you do when you want to make money? You cut people, you figure out how you can residual and put all these things in together and get them handled in a faster solution, make more profit, make more money, and get out. And then the next private equity is going to buy them, or they're going to take themselves or public or private or whatever they're going to do. But it's literally about ultimately making that money, not about making all of their customers happy, even though they will tell you that and they will provide that lip service all day long. So EDI managed services, understand and ask them what happens after implementation. What support do we have once you're done implementing this? Once we get to that finish line, whether that be, you promised me 60 days and it's actually taking 6 months. What does that look like? Where's the handoff? What am I getting from you? How do I move forward? How do I do those type of things? So you need to ask those questions so that you already know what you need to support, how you're going to interact, what's the best way to get a hold of your support. Is it phone calls? Is it an online portal? Is it sending an email to a specific person, or do I always have to go to generic support? It's those things. We use, just describing mine, we assign individual companies that come in and become clients of ours, we assign you a generic distribution email address. It's blank at edisupportllc.com. On the back end, there's multiple people that see that distribution group because I may take vacation. Sarah on my team may take vacation. Tony may take vacation. Alex, Bruce, anybody that's on the team may take vacation and go away, and you need individuals to back that person up. Or God forbid, something happens to them. They get hurt. They get sick. I was describing this to my wife the other night. Businesses don't stop. Life goes on. I'm not trying to be mean. Everybody gets replaced. At some point in time, somebody's going to replace me. I don't know if it's going to be EDI Support LLC, but at some point in time, there's one thing we can't outchase, and that's death. It's just going to happen. So you have to be prepared. You have to make sure clients are handled, clients are taken care of. So why is there a lack of support from some managed EDI services? Because they're not focused on that. They're not focused on the long-term relationship, building a partner, providing you a handoff, doing all those things that are going to empower you as the user to understand their system, to be properly trained, to understand the handoff. It's weird. A lot of these major companies actually, when you ask them, well, what's the handoff look like? Well, what do you mean? Okay, I take over, you implement it, I take over the system. What do I have to do? Do I need to know EDI? Do I not need to know EDI? What are we going through? People are more focused on I got somebody asking me for EDI, or I got these pain points that are in my current system, and my 3PL told me to go with this company. I've run across that over and over again. Slow down a little bit. Understand what all the requirements are. Understand how it's all going to work. Understand what the handoff looks like. Ask those questions. And if you don't know how to ask those questions, ask me those questions, or hit me up and say, hey, Jim, what do I need to ask them? And I'll give you insight into that. And I'm not going to charge you for that. I'm going to give you insight into making sure that you know what's going on. What are all the avenues you would need with the post-implementation support, project management, daily EDI monitoring, etc. So as you're going through and you're doing that post-implementation, all of the avenues that you have is you have to look at the resources you have on staff, look at the resources that they're providing, look at all those things that are being covered and not covered. And you'll find with a lot of EDI managed services, there's a lot of things that you're going to unveil that are not being covered. And then you start searching the web and you look for EDI companies that can help you, whether it be on a supporting basis, on a full hosted managed solution, or outsourced, or whatever it may be. And then you're actually finding out those answers after the fact instead of finding out before the fact. So you need to understand, how are you going to handle project management? What are you going to do when the new trading partner reaches out and says, hey, we want to go with EDI, or your sales team comes to you and says, hey, we want to add EDI, or we have this new relationship and they would like to do XYZ. What's that going to look like? Do you know who you're going to have to, if you're in a managed service, do you know who you have to reach out to get that account added to your account? Get that trading partner set up, get those new documents processed and flowed, understanding the business process, understanding all of those things that come along with getting them added to your system as a trading partner, as a relationship, as all of that. So project management, how are you going to handle daily support? What type of notifications are you going to get from the system to keep you aware of issues or things that you need to correct, or any of that kind of stuff? Or do you manually have to go into the system and review it? Automated processing of error notifications and email notifications and all of those things seem to work out better because people can check it on their phone, they can check it on their laptop, they can check it on the go, they can do all of those things. And as a society, we're a lot easier once something notifies us, whether the phone's ringing or an email comes through and you hear a little bing on your computer, whatever it may be, it's refreshing your mind to, hey, I need to take a look at that. Hey, I need to do this. Instead of relying on hey, I got to set a reminder that I need to check EDI and see if there's any failures, or look for 864s, or look for 824s, or look for any of the different, healthcare notifications that you're going to get. All of those things. So what do you need to put in place post-implementation to make sure that somebody is monitoring, somebody's making sure of it, somebody's doing all of those things to make documents are processing, things are being acknowledged, working through that list. What does it look like? What's that handoff? Again, I stress, what's the handoff? If they're no longer responsible as an EDI managed service, what are my responsibilities? What do I need to make sure of to check and make sure my system is processing and doing things successfully? I hate to say it, a lot of them are looking at you as a number. They're not looking at you as a customer. They're not looking at you as a client. They're just simply saying, you're just another project that's on my list. You're just another person that's calling into my queue or emailing into my queue. And I just am here to do what I got to do on a daily basis. It's that long-term partnership, relationship building and understanding and growing together and saying, hey, I may not be perfect at everything, but let's grow together. Let's figure out your system, because like for my team, we're typically putting in the customized systems. We're not an off-the-shelf type of company. We're more of a customized, enhanced, to be built off of your business processes to help you from a non-standard, everybody does this type approach. We work with you. We want you to feel empowered. We want you to tell us, what are you looking for? Do you want hourly support? Do you want monthly monitoring? Do you want an overall project? Do you want us to be the outsourced EDI department? Do you want to call us when you feel like it? Like there's something that you and your team can't figure out, so you need, just an added soundboard to figure out issues or to look into issues? Or do you want somebody that's going to remote in and jump in and look at it right away, or go into your SaaS account and look at it right away and figure out what's going on and monitor maybe those daily emails and say, hey, this isn't working. Hey, look, I took a notice and this failed because it's missing an item cross-reference or whatever it's going to be. How to solve the issue. One of the other things is how to solve this issue if you don't have an in-house staff. What are your options? Again, give me a call. We're around. We can be an outsourced EDI department. We can be an enhancement to your department. We can be that, you don't have to look for staff members or EDI people or integration people or API people or whatever, because it's what we have. It's what we do day in, day out. Typically most companies don't need a full-time EDI person because you don't have enough work for them. The beauty of EDI is once you work it and you get everything set up, it's really becomes more of a monitoring unless you add a new relationship, and less of a full-time job, unless you have a lot of failed data, unless you are not proactive in correcting the issues that come up. There's just simply a lot of it that can be outsourced. I'm not saying that you have to outsource. I'm not saying that you can't have an internal person. Just most organizations that we run across, they don't need an internal person. That person has multiple hats of responsibility. And if you look at their percentage of what they focus on for EDI, once they're up and running, it's not a lot. It shouldn't be a lot, because the data should be able to flow, and the system should be able to set up to notify you as issues happen. Project management for new implementations, for new trading partners, for all of that, yes, you're going to be busy. You're going to be busy chasing people, corralling cats, as I call it, and making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, doing the mapping notifications, doing all of those wonderful things, figuring out business processes and everything else. But when you're looking at the after effect of an implementation and you have no more trading partners to set up as of right now, really your system should be almost like a set it and forget it if it's done properly. If it's not done properly, it's going to be a nightmare, and it could be a full-time job until it's cleaned up. Me and my team are here to help with that, help explain it, help get you the things that you need, help explain and work through whether you're using an EDI managed service, an on-prem system, whatever it may be. We may not be the experts in that particular system, but we are the experts when it comes to API, EDI, system integrations, and all of those things. We do that day in and day out. Your tool set may be different. Your what we can get into and what we can handle may be different. And I will state it. Like, I will tell you, listen, we don't have the keys to the kingdom. We can't change everything. We can't do your maps. We can't set up your new trading partners because you outsourced all of that to a particular group or an organization. So here's what has to be done. And we go from there. That's the truth of the matter. is you want a partner or somebody that you can reach out to that can give you the real life of what's going on. And that's what we strive to do here when it comes to EDI Support LLC. We try to be that advocate, but we're also going to be realistic, and we're going to tell you how it is. And some of the times we're not that right fit, but that's okay. So anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed what I went over, gave you some insight, gave you a little bit of help how to address, when you're looking at the lack of post-implementation support from EDI service provider, managed service, if you've been allocated a system that you have no clue how it all works, reach out. I might have a resource. We might be a resource, whatever. I'll help you to figure out an answer or find a solution. As always, follow us here on LinkedIn, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and join our Discord group to keep learning from the experts, and also to help you get quick answers to any of your EDI and API questions. You'll see the links in the event details of this event details section. There's my blooper. Anyways, I will talk to you next Wednesday. I hope you have a great day. And again, don't hesitate to reach out. Take care.